Have you ever looked at your dog and thought, "They're happy. I'm doing everything right"? Most of us believe that if our dog is fed, walked, and loved, then we must be great owners. But what if some of your most normal daily habits are quietly stressing your dog out? Not because you're careless, not because you don't love them, but because you're speaking human and they're living in a completely different emotional language. Dogs rarely complain loudly. They don't sit you down and explain what feels wrong. They adjust, they tolerate, they adapt, and sometimes they slowly pull back. If you've ever felt like your dog seems distant, restless, or off without knowing why, this might be the missing piece. Let's start with something almost everyone does. 1. Hugging them when they didn't ask for it. Humans hug to show love. It feels natural. You come home, you kneel down, you wrap your arms around your dog's neck and squeeze. To you, that moment is pure affection. But in the canine world, restraint means something very different. When one animal places its limbs over another's shoulders, it's often about control, not comfort. Studies observing dog body language show that many dogs display subtle stress signals during hugs: lip licking, turning their head away, stiff posture, showing the whites of their eyes. Your dog may not pull away, they may stay still, but stillness doesn't always mean comfort. Sometimes it means tolerance. When your dog leans into you on their own, rests their head on your leg, or gently presses against your side, that's affection in their language. It's voluntary closeness. And that difference between chosen contact and restrained contact matters more than most people realize. 2. Talking constantly when they're already stressed. When your dog is anxious, during a storm, at the vet, or when guests arrive, what do most of us do? We talk. A lot. It's okay, relax, calm down, stop, no, don't do that. But dogs don't process full sentences the way we do. Research in animal cognition shows that dogs respond more strongly to tone and emotional energy than vocabulary. When your voice becomes fast, high, or tense, even if the words are kind, your dog feels the tension. Imagine being nervous and someone keeps speaking rapidly around you in a language you only partly understand. It wouldn't calm you, it would overwhelm you. Sometimes what your dog needs most is quiet presence, slow breathing, soft movements, a steady rhythm. When they glance at you during a stressful moment, they're not asking for a speech. They're asking, "Are we safe?" And if your body says yes, that matters more than any sentence ever could. 3. Rushing them through walks. To many people, a walk is exercise. It's about steps, distance, routine. But to your dog, a walk is information. Dogs experience the world primarily through scent. Their noses are thousands of times more sensitive than ours. Sniffing isn't a distraction, it's reading the news. It's learning who passed by, which animals were nearby, what changed since yesterday. Studies have shown that allowing dogs to sniff freely during walks can lower stress levels and increase optimism in behavioral tests. When you constantly pull the leash and say, "Come on," you may be unintentionally cutting off their primary way of understanding the world. From your dog's perspective, it feels like being dragged past conversations you desperately want to hear. A walk where your dog gets to sniff isn't wasted time. It's mental enrichment. It's emotional regulation. It's saying your curiosity matters. 4. Inconsistent rules. One day your dog is allowed on the couch. The next day they're scolded for jumping up. Sometimes jumping gets attention. Other times it gets ignored. Sometimes barking is funny. Sometimes it's punished. To humans, context changes. To dogs, patterns matter more than explanations. Behavior research consistently shows that predictability creates security in animals. When rules change based on mood or situation, your dog doesn't think, "Oh, today is different." They think, "I don't understand what's safe." That uncertainty creates low-level stress, not dramatic fear, just quiet confusion. Dogs thrive on clear cause and effect. When expectations are consistent, their nervous system relaxes. They don't have to guess. They don't have to test. They simply exist with confidence. And confidence is one of the greatest gifts you can give a dog. 5. Ignoring their early stress signals. Here's something most owners don't realize. Dogs whisper before they shout. Before a growl, there's a freeze. Before a snap, there's a stiff tail. Before avoidance, there's a yawn or lip lick. Animal behaviorists call these calming signals. They're subtle attempts to diffuse tension. When your dog turns their head away while being petted, that's communication. When their ears shift back slightly, that's communication. When they suddenly scratch themselves mid-interaction, that's communication. If those whispers are ignored, the dog learns that subtle signals don't work, and eventually, the signals get louder. Many behavioral problems don't start with aggression. They start with misunderstood communication. When your dog looks away, they may be saying, "I'm uncomfortable." When they move slightly back, they may be saying, "That's enough." Listening at the whisper stage protects the relationship. Waiting for the shout damages it. 6. Leaving them alone longer than they can emotionally handle. There's a myth that dogs should just get used to being alone, that independence is healthy. And yes, dogs can learn to be alone. But attachment research has shown that dogs form strong bonds with their owners, similar in measurable ways to bonds seen in young children with caregivers. When you leave for long periods without preparation or enrichment, some dogs don't simply nap peacefully. They wait. They monitor. They stress quietly. Not all dogs show dramatic separation anxiety. Some just withdraw. They sleep more. They lose interest. They become less engaged. Your dog doesn't measure time the way you do. They measure presence. Small adjustments, interactive toys, predictable departure routines, calm greetings instead of chaotic reunions can change how your absence feels to them. It's not about never leaving. It's about helping them feel secure when you do. Because security isn't about constant closeness, it's about predictable return. 7. Forcing affection instead of letting it be chosen. When your dog chooses to lie near you instead of in another room, that's trust. When they roll onto their side beside you, not stiff, but loose, that's trust. When they bring you a toy and place it gently at your feet, that's connection. Research in animal welfare repeatedly shows that giving animals control over interactions lowers stress and increases positive engagement. In simple terms, when your dog gets to decide when and how closeness happens, the bond strengthens. When they don't get that choice, they may comply, but compliance is not the same as comfort. If your dog walks away during petting, let them. If they come back, that return means everything. It says, "I feel safe enough to choose you again." And that choice is the purest form of loyalty there is. If any of these felt uncomfortable to hear, that's normal. None of these behaviors come from cruelty. They come from love filtered through human instincts. Your dog doesn't hate you. They don't hold grudges. But they do feel stress. They do experience confusion. And they do communicate constantly in ways that are easy to miss. The beautiful thing is this. Once you start noticing, everything changes. You begin to see the slight ear shift, the soft sigh, the way their body relaxes when you slow down, the way their eyes soften when they realize they don't have to brace. Understanding your dog isn't about being perfect. It's about being observant. It's about translating love into a language they understand. Because to your dog, you are their environment. You are their safety. You are their world. And when your actions say, "I see you, I hear you, I respect you," they don't just obey you, they trust you. And trust, in a dog's world, is everything.